Hi there, and welcome to my free How to Paint Mini Masterclass. Why am I doing a masterclass? Because I get a lot of questions from creators who have various needs and interests in working with acrylics and wonder how to make them perform just like they want them to. So I'm going to share some of my tips and secrets and get behind the scenes on breaking down acrylic art techniques. So if you'd like to join me for this free series, it's going to be private and not listed on YouTube. It will be drip fed to your email, and you can watch it at your leisure. You just have to join at 101artist.com or click the link below. I hope you enjoy it, and let's get started.
Okay, I am going to teach you in this segment about acrylic painting mediums and why you cannot just use water to break down your paint and create a flow. I get a lot of questions from people that say, can I just, break it down with water if I don't have any glaze or whatever on hand? The answer is no, you cannot. The acrylic paints will break down with too much water. Now, of course, I always have my handy mister bottle because, excuse me, a little water is great with acrylics. I will often mist my canvas. I will often mist my palette. I will mist my palette after I have my paints mixed just to keep it a little bit wet and workable. But a little bit of water is one thing. Too much water will ruin your painting. And I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like. If you have something like a heavy body acrylic paint like this, and you're wanting to break it down with a whole bunch of water, I'm going to put this down, and you're thinking, okay, wow, that's really thick. I want a real washy look all over my whole painting. So I'm just going to break this down with a whole bunch of water all over the place. Yeah, it helps your paint flow. It sure does. But it's going to break down the pigments. And when I say break down the pigments, I literally mean break them apart. So when this dries, you're not going to get that beautiful coat of brilliant blue. You're going to get a patchy, very dried out looking effect. And unless you're really going for that, you're probably going to be very disappointed with that. So you can probably already see how it's kind of breaking down here. This is not giving me a really beautiful sort of, it's bubbling up, it's breaking, it's a mess. Okay, so you do not want to use a bunch of water with your acrylic paint. You want to use good quality mediums. Get some paper towel here, and I'm going to wipe down some of this mess so I can go ahead and finish, because this is not going to work for me. Okay. Sometimes if you work quickly enough, you can just kind of wipe out the background and start again with acrylics. That's kind of the beautiful thing of it. So although we do have a little bit of a staining back there, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to work some of these other mediums. So if you want to break down something like a heavy body acrylic paint, you're going to have to use something like this extends, it's called GAC 500 Extends Fluid Acrylics. They all say what they do on the front, so you just read it. This will create a nice glaze. This is an acrylic flow release. This is going to increase the working time, and it's going to also wet down the surface a little bit more. But The one thing that you're going to want to do to break out, wet out solid pigments is this GAC 100. So if you've got a lot of heavy body paints and you really want to create a nice sort of flowy background and really get a nice sort of working, like create more of a high flow or a fluid acrylic versus the heavy body, you're going to use a little bit of this GAC 100. This stuff is great. And this will, with a proper mixing, wet out those solids. So you're going to blend it like that with the acrylics that I already sort of have this heavy body. And this is going to create not only a beautiful finish, but it's just going to break those solid heavyweight paints down so they create more of what's like a high, not the high flow, but a fluid acrylic. So that's a wonderful thing to have on hand if you like to create more of a soft kind of washy background or create a more glazed background and you have a lot of heavy duty acrylics. I bought, years ago, I bought a huge set of when I was just starting out, I bought a whole set of these heavy body acrylics. And I thought it was such a great deal. I got them and, you know, they're wonderful paint. But I find I like to create a lot of thinner glazed paintings. So I had a whole drawer full of these. But what I really wanted was either a high flow or a fluid acrylic, which is what I always would tend to choose more. And I wasn't using the heavy bodies until I realized I could buy a medium that would help break down that paint and give me more of the look that I wanted. So I could use it as a heavy impasto paint, or I could break it down and use it as a fluid paint and create nice soft washy backgrounds. So you can do that if you have heavy paint. You can definitely break that down. And again, that was a GAC 100 Golden Brand multi-purpose acrylic.